Okay. So data scientist is now considered as one of the sexiest job in the 21st century because we're living in the age of big data. So, uh, in my opinion, the data scientists are people who actually collect the data from different sources, like specific like internet, and then they analyze those data and gain some insight about the user preference or all those different kinds of information, and then they present those information to their company to improve the performance of their products or their services. Uh, and and in my opinion, there are three critical skills that are required for this job. The first one is the statistical analytical skills, which means that you have to learn a lot of different uh, technologies, um, like statistical knowledge that you need to use different models, different methods to evaluate different set of data. And that requires you to use appropriate method to uh, statistically analyze data in different situation and reality. The second ability is the ability to analyze and mine data, which is a little bit different from what you learn in math, but how you can use technology like computer software to uh, like collect data from specific source like internet and then use some specific software like Excel or like IBM modeler to look into this data and try to make some predictions or get some specific results using the algorithm in your computer. And the third ability is the ability to present the data visualization results to your customer or your client. That is very important because not everyone know what kind of method you use and the technical like the technology that you use to analyze this data. They just need to know what kind of result you get and how you get that result in a more more common way to explain. And that is important because if you cannot accurately make your client believe that your data result is the right one for them to make the decision, then you're no longer a successful data scientist. Uh, However, I think a good data scientist should be more of an artist rather than a scientist. Why do I say that? Because we will not only follow the strict technology and theory to analyze the data, but or most of the time we need to look into the like a structure of a business and the culture of the society and the psychology of the users, so that uh, we can using these uh, specific things behind the data to get a more accurate result, not only the observation of the data, but what is behind the data. That requires you to have a characteristics of an artist rather than simply a scientist. That is why a person who can qualify a job like data scientist will be qualified for a range of different types of jobs because they will be very, very knowledgeable. For example, they have to know the economic elasticity if they have to deal with financial data, and they have to understand how to uh, how to manage the storage if they're dealing with the operation data, and they also need to understand the what like the government structure if they're doing political data analysis for the government or the election. So actually, the most critical thing is to maximize your client's interest. So, uh, so actually, you have to do a very, um, I mean, like very tailored service to your client. That means you will get very good salary for that job. Um, actually, I did some research on this, and it turns out that for the United States, the average salary for this job is uh, $117,000, and in China is even more, which is about 800,000 Chinese Chinese yuan, which is about 15 uh, $150,000. So that is what I think. Why do I think this job is very very uh, up, very good job for almost everyone. And So most of the people in business school or some other majors might be upset that we are not very qualified for a job like this, because they feel like we're not CS major, we're not good at computers. So actually, um, that is not the completely right answer, because there is no absolute um, job that requires absolute major people. Everyone can do a job like that, and that's why I find some important example in the reality. For example, the Facebook data scientist program, the team is led by the chief sociologist, whose name is Cameron Marlowe, and he is not really a professional programmer, but he is the leader of the team because he is very successful in this area of sociology and psychology. So he can have some very important insights on the user data of a social network. That's why he got this job. And another example is in that Kaggle competition, which is a competition of the data analyst and prediction. And in that competition, the championship is won by a lawyer who actually created his own analytical technology, which is called Overskill Analytics. He's a lawyer and he has no background in like computer science, but he did a great job to use this specific technology that analyze the big data with a combination of a bunch of simple like simple models, not the complicated models. So this was is good because our current hardware technology will allow us to run a very heavy algorithm or calculation. So a combination of a lot of um, simple models will be even faster than running a very complicated big model. That is why his model finally win the game. And that also teach us one thing that in the age of big data, um, that does not mean that a big technology is very important. So actually, we really need people who has very good technology, but we also need people who can think differently and make some difference to the team. That's why I don't think data scientist is only for people for in those CS major. It's very important that you know what kind of data you're going to analyze and what is the right direction to analyze those data. So, in my opinion, everyone like me and everyone else in the business school should be confident to be we're smart enough to be a data scientist. So, just need to find the right direction and the area that you're really interested in.